friends, I am Safia, your science teacher. Today we are going to continue the topic changes around us. In the last video, we have discussed about the rustering of iron and some other chemical and physical changes. Now we are going to learn some more important things about these changes. So the topic which we are going to discuss is familiar. If you ever have observed a potato or an apple, after biting an apple, after some time you will observe that the flesh of the apple will change into brownish color. A layer will be forming on the apple. Have you ever observed it? Yeah, obviously, whenever we are eating apple, we will be observing that. Not only apple, even brinjal also. What your mama will do, she'll cut the brinjal in the cold water or the water which contains salt. And she'll be making all the pieces and putting those brinjals in that container or in the vessel. Why these all things will? Why they are putting these potatoes and brinjals in the water? Why they can't keep in the open air? That is because fruits and vegetables have acids in them. Fruits and vegetables also have acids in them, and these acids will react with these chemicals, and the acids will react with the atmospheric air, and as a result a brownish layer will be forming on the fruits and vegetables, and as a result we can see that fruits and vegetables will become brown in color. So what to do to prevent browning or to prevent the formation of brownish layer on the cut fruits and vegetables? Then you have to put all those fruits and vegetables into the cold water or in the water. And one thing you can do, that is what? You have to apply citric acid or vinegar. That means you have to rub the fruits and vegetables with the lemon juice or with the vinegar. Okay, apply some drops of vinegar or the citrus juice, citric acid onto the fruits and vegetables. Like if you want to keep brinjals open, then you should not. If you don't want to keep brinjals in the water, then you have to apply little amount of vinegar to it. Apply vinegar to the surface of the brinjal. In that way, we can prevent browning or the formation of brown layer on the fruits and vegetables. Next topic which we are going to see here, when we are burning magnesium ribbon. We have discussed about magnesium ribbon in the lesson acids and bases, right? Magnesium ribbon. Magnesium ribbon is soft. Now what we are going to see is, we are going to observe when we burn a magnesium ribbon, what happens? Is burning magnesium ribbon is a physical change or a chemical change? So take this magnesium ribbon, burn it on the flame of candle. Okay, for example, if I have a candle here, okay, I am going to put this magnesium ribbon. With the help of forceps, you have to hold the ribbon and burn it on the flame of candle. And you will observe that this magnesium ribbon will burn and it will be changing into ash. Collect that ash in a petri dish. So ash has been collected in the petri dish or in the container. Okay. Now, what do you think? Magnesium ribbon and this ash, is the composition of these two same? No, there is a change here. So what is the composition when magnesium ribbon is burned in the presence of oxygen? When magnesium burns in the presence of oxygen, magnesium plus oxygen gives rise to magnesium oxide. So first only it was a magnesium, but after burning it has changed into magnesium oxide. That means there is a difference in the composition. That means a new substance is formed which is nothing but ash. Magnesium oxide is in the form of ash. So that as there is a new substance formed here, this kind of, what is this change? Whether it is physical or chemical change, when new substance is formed, then it is a chemical change. Burning of magnesium ribbon is a chemical change. Now we are going to take this magnesium oxide and dissolving in the water. Magnesium oxide plus water. When dissolved in water, which substance is formed? Let us see here. So magnesium oxide will change into magnesium hydroxide. Again, the composition of magnesium oxide has been changed into magnesium hydroxide. So this is also a chemical change. Now you can find out whether this magnesium hydroxide is acidic or basic. How we can find out the nature of it? By using litmus papers or by using chemical indicators. So when we test this magnesium hydroxide with litmus papers, red litmus will change into blue. If the litmus paper changes from red to blue, that means magnesium hydroxide is basic in nature. So the next activity which we are going to do is we are going to find out the next reaction, whether it is a physical change or a chemical change. For that you have to take a beaker. A beaker should be taken. A beaker is half filled with water. Take a beaker half filled with water and add copper sulfate crystals into it. Add copper sulfate. As we are adding copper sulfate into it, this solution will change into blue color. The color of this solution is blue. What is this solution? It is copper sulfate solution, which is blue in color. Okay, the color of this solution is blue. Now, 2 drops of sulfuric acid is added to this blue color solution. Now, you have to take iron nail. Take an iron nail, new iron nail, and keep that iron nail into this blue color solution. Okay, now I am going to put iron nail into the blue color solution. Okay, here is the iron nail. First, we have prepared copper sulfate solution, which is blue in color. Then we have added a few drops of sulfuric acid to the blue color solution, and now we are going to keep this iron nail into the copper sulfate solution. Keep this apparatus without disturbing for half an hour. After half an hour, you will find some changes in this beaker. What are those changes means? As I said, what is the color of the beaker actually? It is, what is the color of the solution present in the beaker? It was blue in color. But after half an hour, you will observe that this solution will change into green color. This solution will change into green color. And you have to remove the iron nail present in this beaker. Now we are going to remove the iron nail which was present in the beaker. You will observe this iron nail will get reddish coating on it. This iron nail will get reddish coating on it. Why? Because here a reaction has taken place. That is, the iron which was present on this iron nail has dissolved in the solution, and this solution has changed into iron sulfate. And there is a reddish layer present on the nail. This reddish layer is because of copper. Then see, copper has been displaced by iron. So here, as a new substance is formed, this is a chemical change. Iron sulfate you can see in the solution, and copper you can see on the nail. A reddish layer will be forming on the nail, that is because of copper. As new substance is formed here, this is an example of chemical change. The next reaction which we are going to see is, we are going to add vinegar to the baking soda. What happens when we add vinegar to baking soda? So there, as we are adding vinegar in baking soda, there will be a reaction taking place here. For example, if you don't have vinegar, you can use lemon juice instead of vinegar, because vinegar is acid, whereas the lemon juice is also acid. So we have, first of all, we need to put a test apparatus to perform this experiment. So the apparatus is required for this are 2 metal stands, iron stands here with a handle. We are going to put the test tubes into this handle. This is the apparatus which we need to arrange for the experiment, that is adding vinegar to the baking soda. So take the test tube and add a teaspoon of vinegar. Take teaspoon of vinegar into the test tube. Add a pinch of baking soda to the vinegar. As we add this, we can observe the reaction will take place, and as a result, bubbles are formed and gas is also liberated. We need to test what this gas is, whether it is oxygen, hydrogen or the carbon dioxide. For that we need to we have to collect the gas. So we have collected the gas. Okay, and if you see this side of the apparatus, you can find the same arrangement with a metal stand and the test tube. This test tube contains lime water. This test tube contains lime water. So this gas which is present in the first test tube will be travelling through the delivery tube to the second test tube which contains lime water. And as this gas is getting collected in the second test tube, you will observe that this lime water will change into milky. This lime water changes milky. So as we know which gas turns lime water milky, that is carbon dioxide. That means when vinegar and baking soda are in the second test tube, you will observe that this lime water will change into milky. This lime water changes milky. So as we know which gas turns lime water milky, that is carbon dioxide. That means when vinegar and baking soda are added to each other, a gas that is carbon dioxide is liberated along with other substances. As the new substances are formed here, this is also an example of chemical change. The next one is burning of camphor. You know, camphor is used in doing harati and all. So this camphor, you can observe the change of camphor is also a chemical change. How? For that you have to take the camphor tablets in one container or in the beaker. Put it open in the air for some time. You will observe that the amount of or the quantity of camphor will reduce, and as a result, smell will be present around it. As it gives out the smell, it reduces in the quantity, and as well as the smell of it is very strong, it is used for keeping the insects and the mites away. It is also used in medicines. So the chemical the reactions which we have discussed are like iron sulfate and copper sulfate is changing into iron sulfate, the vinegar mixing with the baking soda or the camphor, all these, and the burning of magnesium ribbon, all these are the kinds of chemical changes. We can conclude these as the new substance are formed, these all are chemical changes. What happens when chemical change takes place? There are the 5 traits will take place whenever a chemical change will be taking place. 5 traits we can observe whenever it is a chemical change. The first one will be heat, light or other radiation may take place if it is a chemical change. A new smell or a smell will be produced if it is a chemical change. Sound may be produced if it is a chemical change. Composition may change if it is a chemical change. Change in the state may take place. Change in the color may take place. Heat, light or other radiation can take place, can be produced or can be absorbed if it is a chemical change. All the traits whatever we have discussed may take place in one change and may not take place in other of the changes. All 5 traits can take place. In some of the changes only 1 or 2 traits can take place. So if it is 1 trait, 2 or 3 traits, so then also it is a change. If all the 5 traits are not taking place, it does not mean the change has not taken place. Change will be taking place. Next topic is crystallization. Regarding crystallization, we have learnt in the 6th class. There we have seen we do this separation to separate salt from the salt water. In the same way, we will see this crystallization in our day-to-day life. Have you ever seen the crystal salt or the crystal sugar? Crystal sugar is nothing but misri in crystal blocks. You can see that is our crystal salt. Okay, have you ever seen this? Okay, you have seen. Then how this crystal sugar is changing into small crystals which we use in our day-to-day life. And have you ever observed formation of sugar crystals on the sweets like balushai, jalebi and some other sweets? How these all will take place and what is the process called as? The formation of sugar crystals on the sweets like balushai and jalebi is called as crystallization. So the topic is crystallization of sugar. We have taken a stand with a boiling tube, and we are going to fill the boiling tube with the water, fill half of the boiling tube with the water and go on adding the sugar. Sugar is soluble, it will dissolve in water. So the amount of sugar which you have added, if it has been dissolved, then add some more amount of sugar. That means you are going on adding the sugar till at certain point sugar will stop dissolving. For example, now we have added 30 spoons of sugar into this water. So when you are going to add 31st spoon to the sugar to the water, 31st spoon of sugar to the water, this sugar will not dissolve. That means we got a saturated solution, saturated sugar solution. After this point, water cannot dissolve the sugar. Now what you have to do, stop adding the sugar. Now heat the water, heat this sugar solution with the help of a Bunsen burner. With the help of a Bunsen burner or with the help of a spirit lamp. So when you are heating, you have to heat till all the water will evaporate and transfer this solution to the china dish or to the petri dish. Leave this solution for half an hour. Let it cool down for half an hour. After cooling down, you will observe that the entire water will be changing into sugar crystals. That means we have separated the water and sugar by heating. So the sugar is a solute here. Sugar is solute and water is solvent. Water is solvent. As it is dissolving the solute, it is called as solvent. Solvent will dissolve all the solute and sugar is solute here. So the method of separation of solute from solvent by heating or evaporating is called as crystallization. The next one is crystallization of urea. First we have done crystallization of sugar, now crystallization of urea. Same thing, instead of adding sugar we have to add urea to the water. So take an stand with a rod and take one boiling tube filled with water, half filled with water. Now add urea to it. Add few spoons of urea and then start heating this water with the help of a Bunsen burner or the spirit lamp. Go on heating this water which contains urea and you will observe urea will get dissolved in it. Now go on adding the urea and stir the water. Add urea, stir. Add urea, stir. Go on stirring. Up to some extent this urea will get dissolved. After that point urea cannot dissolve. Water cannot dissolve urea. So at that time you have to stop adding the urea. Okay, they stir the water properly. Then transfer this water into the china dish or into the container. Let the solution cool down. You will observe that the crystals of urea will be forming. After the solution has cooled down, then you will observe the formation of urea in the china dish. This is how crystallization of urea and sugar will take place. In this you will observe that small sugar crystals will be changing into big crystals and the urea will be changing into the crystals. That means no new substance is formed, same substance has been gained the shape, okay, it has increased in size or shape. But no new substance is formed, composition has not changed here. So the crystallization is an example of physical change. Crystallization is an example of physical change. So in this chapter we have learnt about the fast change, slow change. Already we are having idea. We have learnt new thing is what? Periodical change. The change which occurs for every regular interval of time is periodical change. Then we have discussed about physical change and chemical changes. We have learnt different chemical changes and as well as the physical changes. So, and you have also learned the 5 traits for chemical changes. It is not necessary that every chemical change should have all the 5 traits. This was the end of your lesson, changes around us. Homework for this part is, first what is crystallization, then what happens when magnesium ribbon is burnt in air. So students, we have discussed everything about this lesson in these two videos. You go through the videos thoroughly and properly and listen to the videos and write your homeworks or worksheets properly in your notebooks. Thank you.